Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. So we are back with a follow-up video for our experiment if we can dig like this. So let's get started. Alright, so we got a good number of comments and several ideas from it that I want to try out. So I kind of just want to do a quick little follow-up like video to see how we can make this drill ship tethering type idea work. So one idea was, although I think it should be the same, instead of making your hinges and rotors and things like that on torqueless, we can make it off and see how that reacts when we turn on dampeners with thrusters on this thing. So in that case, we hit Z in 3, 2, 1. Nope, still reacts the same, unfortunately. Whoa, flew a little too high. Yikes. Yeah, so it does not like... Ouch. It does not like the fact that it is actually on these hinges. So another test that I was kind of made aware of as well was to put connectors on it. So I'm going to try that as well. But let's just see if this really works though. So if it's off, and let's just say we put the highest torque, or, you know, whatever the torque was originally. I think it was like 33 or something like that. Or we get close to it, whatever. Let's see if that works. If that doesn't work, we could try something else as well. Nope, that does not like that at all. So that's really, really interesting. What else can we do? Shared inertia? Ooh, shared inertia just itself doesn't really like what it's doing. It's just curling up into a ball, as you see there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That gonna do anything? Nope. It's just circling around for no reason. All right. Yeah. So at least we know it doesn't necessarily work while it's off. Shared inertia is on, or whatever the case is. Now we're kind of intertwined here a little bit, but that's fine. I think. I hope. It's a little bit on the twisted side of things. Don't know if that's gonna be a problem, because I was planning to try something else out with this without it being kind of twisted like that. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna have to reload really quick. Okay, we reloaded, and as we know, it doesn't really work that great that way. We're gonna copy it and paste it somewhere high up like we had before. Ooh, I think we're gonna have to borrow this cliff over here if we can, just to get the height. Yeah, we're gonna have to use this piece right here to get the height of the hinge chains. So I'm just gonna plop it right in here. Okay, so that's where the sun doesn't shine, unfortunately. So that's a bit awkward, but that's fine. This thing's just sitting and swinging as it is right now. All right, so let's try this now. Instead of doing a block here, we do some kind of connector of some kind. So let me take this off, copy that ship, just so we can have it that way. And we did have a rotor here. I don't think we necessarily need a rotor here, but we could still put one anyways. So it's gonna be small advanced rotor, I guess. Ooh, this is gonna be tough to do because it's still moving too much. I mean, we could stiffen up the whole entire system. So okay, so we just throw in advanced rotor there, and then we could do a connector of some sort. So we can do maybe a converter style right there, and then we'll do a small connector, which is, they do have smaller connectors, right? Yeah, they have smaller connectors. What am I talking about? Or they call it, was the originally the ejectors back then. So you have the small connector there, and we have to connect it like this as well. So if we paste our ship, I don't know if this thing's gonna be able to fly, but we'll just put it here really quick. Nope, it won't fly because there's no batteries. So that is great. So we need to put in some batteries. I guess we could put in some small batteries for the time being. Not a lot of batteries, but should be good enough for now, I guess. Yeah, should be good. All right. We'll put a connector here, or a small connector here, and we'll try to fly it if we can. And it's not enough thrust to fly this thing, is there? No, there is not enough thrust to fly this thing. Yikes. Okay, so how can we get this thing connected? Can we just throw in more thrusters? Potentially? There. I don't know how that's gonna fare when we connect it though, but we're gonna give that a shot. We're gonna switch lock on this one. Okay. I don't know if we're gonna be upright if we're backing up into it, but we will see shortly. So yes, I mean, we could try to get it to be 90 degrees or something like that. I think we should be fine. Yeah, we gotta find. We could probably manipulate this thing or nudge it a little bit to actually get it to connect. So we should be okay. Let's see if it works. I mean, we just didn't have enough to lift it up. But if we went down slightly, we might be okay, I think. Yeah, we should be okay. All right. Here, we connected. Okay, so there's your answer to that. It does not like the connection whatsoever. That's fine. So let's get off of it really quickly. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. I want to make sure I can still fly up. All right, perfect. Oh, we're drifting down. Oh, dampener's off. That's why. Okay, so it doesn't like that, which is fine. But what if we did... actually, you know what? Let me just get close to it again. So another possibility, which isn't the greatest thing to do, but... So any type of connection into this small grid, it just does not love the fact that it's on a... the hinge chain for whatever reason. So that is fine. That's point proven already. Okay, I'm trying to slow it down a little bit. Okay, so what I want to do here... Oop, I was hoping it was able to connect a little bit better, but strengthen the magnetism on here really quickly. I think this is going to break it if I do 100% this. And if that thing's not staying still, that's even the worst problem that we're going to have here. Nope, that should be good. I just want it to stay still. If it can stay still, that'd be great. Because then I could just go here, connector, and do 100% there. I don't know if that was the right connector, actually. Nope, it's not the right connector. So I guess we just do connector. We'll just connect everything. Oh, that was a small connector, obviously, but yes. All right, small connector, 100%. That is kind of glued onto it. So now if we did dampeners off, we're still hanging onto it, which is perfect. And then if we do the hinges and everything to be off, and now it's free floating, is that going to work with the small fact that we have to connect in order to distribute everything back in? So this might actually work okay. Ah. All right. See, I'm flying okay. I'm stable as well. And if I want to go forward, I can too. This is actually not too bad. Although the flight on this thing is not the greatest because I don't have enough thrusters. And it is fighting me a little bit on the rear end. So I need to put more thrusters, I think, up front to balance it out, I think. Yeah, I mean, if we had hydrogen thrusting, that might even be a little bit better, but this seems to be working okay. So it's not that bad. There are some struggles still because I don't think I can move too far forward. Oh, I could. I could. Well, not really. I think that's the furthest I can go right now. But yeah, so that kind of works and it's more stable and I can just drill like this. No problem. This is actually pretty decent. Not the best thing in the world, obviously, but it's still pretty decent. I'm still having problems really controlling this thing, but like, for example, if I want to grab stuff from here, I think I just need more thrusters, to be honest, or stronger thrusters. So we want to grab this rock right here. We can do so like that and go forward and get the pancakes of ores, as someone left in the comments. That's a really, really fun name to call these ores that are in a circular type of motion or whatever it's called. So here I'm gathering the resources, but the problem is now I'm filling up my drills more than I am transporting it out. But what if I just kind of did that and then quickly turn on the connector, then turn off the connector? Ooh, that's bad. So none of it actually got out of the system, so that's not great. Okay, so that is definitely not the way to go. Let me just collector. Let me just throw out all the stone, because we don't need all that stuff in here. And yeah, we just need a whole bunch of thrusters. Okay, so that's the worst part about it, is that in order to load it up, we have to unhook it. Oh, I should have dampened it off first, and then I should have done that actually. If I could still do that, that would be great. To do it's a bit of a maneuvering of it, I guess, right? So we could have just dampened it off for a second before we actually did that. So let me just get this torque back up. Or just want to stop it somehow. Where is hinge lock? Here. Alright, doesn't necessarily cure the lock, but that's fine. I'm just trying to dump out all the stone that we can for now. Let's try this again. Might be a little rough to do this, but let's see. Alright, let's stop that for now. We should be okay. Okay. So we're magnetized into it. So if we did dampeners off and then connect it, so we still should have some... Yeah, we still have some stone in here. So if we connect it now, it should drain off the drills, hopefully. And the answer is yes. And now the hard part is to stabilize it so that we unlock it and try to get back into the connection point. All right, so I should have done the same. The action should have been switch lock and turn my thrusters back on. Okay, there we go. Let's try it again. Oop. Yikes. Okay, we're connected again. We got ourselves wrapped up a little bit, but we fixed that. But now all the hinges and everything needs to be off again, or no torque. Make this work okay. So let's see. It's connected 100%. Not connected, but 100% right now. We do... Oop. Yeah, dampeners off. But if we did... Let me see if this works. No, it's gonna let go. So basically, dampeners off so it hangs a little bit. Maybe I gotta find... And this is probably gonna freak out a lot too. If we put some kind of magnet... some magnetism or landing gear or something like that to lock in, that might work. But... Alright, this might work too. So let's just say we are dampeners off. We're just against the wall. We could put our gyroscope on to be balanced out. And we gotta hit dampeners on and connect off afterwards, I think. Right? Here. So we're going to hit it at the same time in 3. Actually, yeah. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, that doesn't necessarily work. As you see there. The connector itself kind of flew off away from the drill ship. So that's not perfect. But it's not too hard to connect to it either. So that's the other good thing about that. So, is there a way to make this work a little bit better? I don't know. I mean, can we do this? Can we connect a... I kind of don't even want to do this, but we're gonna have to try it anyways. Can we throw in some kind of magnet block here? It's gonna freak out. I'm pretty sure of it. But we're gonna give it a shot. So can we add one right here? It's gonna freak out, I bet. So let me turn dampeners off really quick before we try this. But we throw in the magnet or magnetic plate right there. And we are locked in, right? So the magnetic plate here is on switch lock. So right now it's locked in, but I can unlock it, unlock it. Perfect. So if I lock it in and hit dampeners, what happens? It freaks out too. Okay, so fine. That's fine. So what if we did... But that's actually fine too. No, that's not fine, because once we connect as a connector, we're fine. Actually, no, this works. So if we to unleash it now, we're still locked in. Wait for the magnetism to turn yellow. Then we could take off the magnet block or magnetic plate. So this might actually be the way to do it. And I'm not sure what just happened there. It just kind of freaked out a little bit. So that was not great. And it broke the thruster. And that's about it. All right. So yeah, I think this might actually be okay. So if we unlock there, wait for the yellow marking. And then we unlock here. So now we're just on... Oh, wait. I know what happened. The switch lock came back on. So the magnetic block itself shouldn't be on auto lock. So here, we are now free roaming this way. So we can now, like, kind of turn and everything like that. Drill what we need to drill. And then when we want to kind of... I think I should set the drills a little differently. Do we have enough gyroscope power on this? It seems to be lacking at the moment. Yeah, we put 35%. So if we did 100%, that should be a lot better. There. So now we can easily drill from here. Get as much stone as possible. And the moment when we don't want to get any more, we back away from it, I guess. And then we turn on magnetic block on or plate on and dampeners off. So we do dampeners off first and then lock in from there. Once we lock in from the connector and we should be okay to get this stuff out of the drills. Perfect. And then we unlock the connectors, wait for it to get yellow. Like that. And then back into unlock the magnetic plate. So that kind of works. It's not the most efficient thing in the world, obviously. But as you see here, I'm actually able to kind of like control it with dampeners on. So I need more thrusters, but the tethering does kind of work this way. But the only unfortunate piece is that you have to keep on a ton of space before you start connecting in. So maybe some hydrogen thrusters will probably work a little bit better in this case. I don't know. And we probably need a bigger battery too, because I don't think this battery is able to kind of hold it. So let's just throw a big one on it for now. So this way, yeah, it seems to be able to, I can control it fairly easily. And if I want to distribute it, I could just distribute it by locking in everything. So making sure to magnetic plate in and then dampeners off. So that's a little bit tricky. You do it faster than that, obviously. And then we lock in. So that could kind of work. But again, it's not a good tether because, I mean, you only have a limited space of drilling power inside here. So that's the other thing, right? If you have a medium cargo container, maybe that could work out. But your biggest chances of just destroying this whole thing, it's also possible too. But, I mean, that kind of could work with the quick locking system. A timer block can do it, I think. I don't know how you can turn off dampeners, though, actually. So, we gotta figure that out. But, we're dampened off now. That works out perfectly fine. And again, if we unlock the connector, wait for it to magnetize, and then lock and then get off the magnetic block, we're perfectly fine because we have full control of it with dampeners on or off. So that's a good way of doing it. It does kind of work if you balance it out that way. But what about large grid version, right? So the large grid version that we have, I think we broke it, so that's unfortunate. All right, so I got it attached a little bit differently with the large grid version, and currently I have it on dampeners on, and it's like fighting me. But if we do override controls, which I thought I tested earlier, and it's seeming to be okay this time around. I'm not sure why last time when I did it, it started curling upwards for whatever reasons. Or this one's going down a little bit, but that's not too bad. But yeah, we can easily turn on and off the override to control it, but I think we are still flying up a little bit. Just a tad. Yeah, we're flying somewhere. Either backwards or whatever the case is. But yeah, another comment was to play with the gyroscope and try to do the override for it so it doesn't, so you can fight against it. So you gotta kind of figure what that is. I think it's a pitch problem. Yep, I can kind of fight it. So whatever that control is, we can just deal with it that way. Oh, nope, we definitely want to go this way. I don't understand what number it is, but we could try to find it so that we can stay as still as possible here. It looks like... Oh. Negative. We're gonna go negative. -1 is too much. We're getting close. Okay. We are at -21 RPM. We're still moving ever so slightly, so we back this up a little bit. Oh, no. -20, let's just say. Slight motion. 19. I mean, that might be slightly better. Whoop. Alright, so we gotta control this to where we want it to be first. And then turn on gyroscope. Alright, I think that's the way to do it, but it feels like we're going up a little bit. Yeah, are we rising? Yes, we are still slightly rising, which is the problem. So I could fix the pitch going up and down, roughly -19, or maybe we are still pitching a little bit. That's why we're moving up. No, we're just going up for whatever reason. So I guess we could just then lower it this way in order for us to do that. But as you see here, it's not too bad. And then we can start... And then we can start drilling this way as well. And if we need to really control it, turn on or turn off the gyroscope override really quickly and then go from there. Yeah, the only problem I'm seeing right now is that... Oop. Yeah, the only big problem I see that is we're slightly rising, so that's not exactly what I would prefer. Not sure why we're rising. But it's minimal. So, yeah. So this aspect could work where you fight the pitch a little bit, but you still can't fight the flight. I don't know why. I mean, the other thing you can do in terms of doing that is your upward thruster, right? So your upward thrusters, you can just do a slight override in this case too. So then that way we don't go up too much, I think. So I don't know. Is that gonna work? Alright, so we're still going up ever so slightly, I think. But let's just say up thrust that way. So then I can look for in my inventory or my toolbars. Then we can increase, decrease, thruster override. Okay, so we're kind of falling down now. So that's interesting. So increasing a little bit, that doesn't help either. So yeah, thrusting override helps, but not necessarily. But as you see here with tethered, it's not bad. We can go up, we can go down, we can go forward a bit. So we can just do this. And then if we really need to fix it, we turn on or turn off the override and situate it the way we need to situate it, and then turn it back on. So you can fight it with your arrows or your arrow keys. There you go. So that could potentially work too. Again, it's not the greatest, but it's working okay. But yeah, point in terms of connecting with a connector, I mean, it doesn't really work that great. If you connect it directly into dampeners off with the small grid, would it kind of do the same thing with large grid? I think it would, but I mean, you can always test it out. And this ship itself is okay. So oh right, because yeah, so we could fight the pitch just fine. Now we're gonna do the same thing with the large grid versus the small grid version with connectors, and hopefully this will work out okay. I do need to stiffen up this joint a little bit. A second. So the hinges. Ooh. So hinges, we can just turn the torque on. Oh, it's on already. Just gonna lock it or something. Let's just lock it for now, and then we'll just turn it off later. So a better mobility of it. So yeah, same concept. If we did it this way, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna like it too much when we have the connectors on, or dampeners on with the connectors. We are way off here. Ooh, 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 ooh. A little bit difficult to control. Okay, so we're there now. So the connector here, I'm just gonna do 100%. Yeah, again, the biggest problem with this is that we unlock or lock and then unlock. It has a period where it takes its time to get connected again, or have that magnetism piece to it. So here's 100%, right? And then that way, I'm pretty sure if we turn on dampeners, it's going to be a problem, right? So let's do that really quickly. So, well, not now, but dampeners. Oh, hold on. We're going to have to... We're going to have to turn our hinges off. Oh, it was off. Interesting. Right. Okay. So here, again, we can control this fairly easily with connector on. And a little bit of movement, but not really. Yeah, it's not too bad. We could use more thrusters. I think it is moving it just so slightly because of the way it's doing things, but that's fine. Well, the hinge is moving a lot, so that's your biggest problem. All right, so if I switch lock in, I'm pretty sure it's gonna freak out. And if it freaks out, I have to do dampeners off. So if we do connectors on. Okay, it's not too bad of a freak out. And it reacts the same way. We can use the gyroscope override on. Kind of balance it out so it doesn't pitch too much. It's still flying up a little bit though. That's the biggest problem. But you can always control it this way. So you technically don't need the connector to do this. Yeah, if we release the connector and have it magnetized, it's a little bit better in terms of control. But again, we gotta go with the rigmarole of putting on these magnetic plates and everything like that. So that's where it just gets a bit more on the annoying side. And I think it's gonna freak out again. Or it's gonna freak out once I put this magnet block here. And it's gonna connect. Oh no, it didn't connect, so that's interesting. What if we did... Can we do a landing gear here? Probably. But that might actually just be just as bad. So there you go. That's locked in. Well, actually, no. That should be fine to lock in. Because it's large grid or large grid. It works fine. Let's see what happens. So I'm locked in. And it's trying to maneuver a little bit more. But as I said before, with the connection like this, is not that bad. I mean, it's the same thing, right? So really, you just gotta... It just works a lot better when it's just a regular connector like that, where it's magnetized. And we can take off the landing gear. It's a little bit awkward now. I don't think it's gonna spin correctly now. Because there's a landing gear there. But it gives us better mobility when we don't have... Yeah, that is just acting a lot strange now because that landing gear is in the way. But that's kind of like the only way to really get it to not like fall out, basically. So I like that we can still spin like this at 100% for sure. And be able to control this pretty decently. Although the small grid version works a little bit better. Because it doesn't really impede anything. But again, with this connected, it's not even that bad. It's just more or less putting a gyroscope to fight it. Which is what you guys had mentioned in the comment section to see if we could do that. And it works out fine. So... I guess you could kind of drill like this with its bit of flaws, obviously. Should we be drilling like that? Most likely not. But there is the chance of doing it. And what's funny is that when we did it this way with those small grid hinges, hitting the walls and everything like that, or the flooring and everything, doesn't really break your ship that bad. So potentially... that is a way to go, a possibility to drill. Although, I'm not the biggest fan of the small grid version if there's no cargo containers to be able to carry a lot more than what the drills can carry. Because you have to constantly turn this on and off. So, basically, your large grid is your better choice. Can you do the opposite? Like, small grid chain on a large grid? Potentially. I don't know how well that's going to perform. But if we turn this into maybe a small grid 3x3 hinges, it might do okay. We can give that a shot and see. So we just knock these out. Knock that rotor piece out. We'll do... I think it's advanced rotor, so we should be okay to do... add a small head. There we go. And we could do... 3x3 hinges, technically, to try. We could also go even smaller if we really want to go that route. Trying to match the notches, just in case. You could very well go with the small hinges too if we do a converter. Do I want to test that out? I don't know. I highly doubt that will be okay. But either way, you're gonna have to convert it into this connector. So you still have your like kind of flaws there too. But this thing is kind of. Do I have the gyroscope on? Yes, I do. That's why I was doing that. All right, perfect. All right, so I now have it as the smaller grid connector and smaller hinges. But obviously we didn't turn it off or put torque off just yet, but I'm going to attempt to connect to it first. Right there. Okay, so our ship is at 100%. Okay, this may or may not freak out, depending on the grid. So let's see what happens when we turn it on. So that looks like it's okay. And our hinges, 3x3s, we can do, let's just turn it off. So we're now on small grid hinge chains on a large grid instead of a small grid in this case. And I'm just gonna replace the batteries really quick here. Put a fresh one. Okay. All right, so let's see how this reacts with the connector like that first. All right, not too bad. It's normal the way it's always been for however it has been. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we are moving slightly too, so that's interesting. All right, we're connected, and it's gonna have a little bit of a pitch problem. Okay, nothing too crazy that we can't fight. So it's kind of doing the same thing, right? It's got that pitch problem with the large grid. But, I mean, it's not too bad. And if we let go of everything, yeah, we just slowly fall down this way. And we turn on override again without gyroscope. It looks fine. Okay, so that's the biggest problem with that. So that doesn't necessarily work. But it's just reacting the same exact way, which is, you know, kind of expected. So if we kind of did a conversion here and do small grid, which is going to be the most biggest pain in the world to do because you have to use a lot. All right, I'm not going to worry too much about the direction and just plop on as much as I can here. It's a real pain in the butt to do this. All right, that's as much as I'm gonna do, and we'll just do another conversion back if I can. And then I'll put a connector here. So it's gotta be this connector because the large grid can't fit on the small grid connector in that case. Let's see what this does, right? So if we did it that way, where are we? All right, we're a little turned around there. Okay, so we'll back it up into this. Don't even know where we are. Oh, we're actually pretty close. And we'll just back it up into the connection. There. So we're almost there. We just need to do 100% magnetism on the connector. Full connection. All right. So that's looking decent. So now we are connected through small hinges into connector, which, I mean, it's going to act the same roughly by being able to maneuver it this way. Did I even turn the hinges off? I probably didn't. Yeah, we'll turn them off so it makes life a little bit easier. But now, yep, we should be able to maneuver this thing a little bit better. Okay, so there's little crisscrosses there, but how well can we control this thing now? It's not doing too good, actually. So the movement that it does is, well, if it's a big movement, it's gonna slowly knock me down a little bit. So I'm moving ever so slightly, but not by much. So it's not too bad. But what happens when we connect it? Oh, still got that pitch issue. So it doesn't matter how you really connect it with large grid into small grid or large grid to large grid, it's still going to have that pitch issue where it just wants to go downwards for some reason, which is fine. Maybe this version actually works a little bit better because we can still maneuver ourselves like this fairly easily with this tether. The only problem is if you want direction, just turn off and on your gyroscope, which isn't that bad. And if you did it this way, your drills got... Yeah, you have infinite drills here where you don't have to worry about, you know, filling up the ship and reconnecting to connectors and all that stuff. So this works. Not the best thing, but it's close. So it's an interesting way of drilling. I think the smaller hinges... It doesn't really... It kind of does the same thing in terms of fight and everything like that. But you see I'm flying up a little bit. But you just get a little bit more control with tinier hinges, as you see here. But it does swing out a bit. So you're always going to have to fight that a little bit or have it settle down. I mean, we could potentially put a little bit of a torque into it. I think we put a little bit of torque, but not too much. It won't swing as bad. So potentially that's the way to go. I mean, we're still rising for whatever reasons. I don't really understand how that works, but sure. But even a little bit of torque can go a long way, I guess. But also, it seems like it's dragging me down a little bit. Yeah, I think with the torque, it's dragging me down to do what it wants to do, which is interesting. So I'm not doing anything. We're just free falling basically. So yeah, no torque is probably better in this case. Or just turn it off in that sense. And that should just leave it alone. Right? I don't even know where we are positioned now. So we turn torque gyroscope override on so we can just like settle down a little bit. Yeah, so the tethering looks better and works better with the small hinges, obviously, because you have more control, more elbows in that case. But again, turning on and off your gyroscope to maneuver this thing is not the worst thing in the world. So I wouldn't mind doing it this way at all if I had to do it this way. And keyword is had to do this or have to do this way. We definitely don't have to do it this way, so that's another thing. All right, so with that experiment, I mean, it kind of works okay as long as you do a connector and maybe a magnetic plate or a landing gear, especially with small grid. So hope you guys enjoyed this follow-up of the experiment. If you did, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to drop a comment down below, even to just say hi. And of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.